Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey. Here, let's take a look at the final game that we're going to build. So we start off on a simple but really nice main menu. So we've got a nice visual, a nice logo, and a bunch of useful buttons. Then of course the game has a nice loading system, so when I click on play, it's going to load into a loading scene and then finally into the final game scene. So let's go ahead and play. And if there we go, here we do see the game scene, and right away we see a nice tutorial window. So it's telling us how to play the game, so the basic interactions, and then over here the controls. Importantly, these are all rebindable, so over here this element is all dynamic. Then we can look at this tutorial for as long as we want, and we are waiting for the interact to continue. There's also a really nice song playing in the background, so the game has music. Now we can look at this tutorial for as long as we want, and when we're ready we can interact to continue. And as soon as we do, yep, there you go, we've got a nice countdown, some nice animations, a nice sound effect, and there you go, now we are playing. Okay, so here I am controlling a nice character. I can move in any direction. There is collision detection, so obviously I cannot go inside solid objects. So I can walk around, and for the goal of the game, over here on the left side we've got recipes that the customers are waiting for. So for example, one customer wants a simple burger. So for that, we gotta need to pick up a nice bun, so let's pick it up. Then the burger obviously requires a meat patty, so let's go ahead, we can pick one up from here, but this one is an uncooked meat patty, so we need to drop it over here on the stove. And there you go, it starts cooking. We've got a nice timer, we've got a nice world bar UI. And there you go, it keeps counting, and we've got some nice particles, some nice visuals, and over there even a nice indicator telling us the meat is about to burn. And there you go, the meat has burned. So now I can pick this up, and I'm holding some burnt meat, so the customer probably doesn't want to eat this. So we can go over here to the trash in order to trash it. Let's try doing another one and do it properly. So let's wait for it to cook. Pick up a plate so we can pick it up directly onto the plate. There you go, the meat is cooked, so let's pick it up. Then go pick up some bread, and there you go, here we have our complete recipe. So let's go into the delivery counter, deliver it, and there you go, a nice delivery success. Alright, awesome, we've just delivered our first recipe. So then someone else wants a salad, so let's go ahead and pick up a tomato. Here we have a big uncut tomato, so let's drop it onto a cutting board. And now we can interact with it, so we can interact with a secondary interaction key. And by interacting, we cut the tomato, so it takes a few cuts, and there you go, it slices, and it's sliced into tomato slices. So let's do the same thing for the cabbage. Here we are, holding a regular cabbage, then slice it, and this one actually takes a bunch more, and there you go, got both slices. Okay, great. So now let's pick up the plate, pick up both slices, and deliver to the customer, and there you go, got a nice success. Alright, awesome. And of course, we have a correct identification of if we have a correct recipe or not. So if I just pick up an empty plate and deliver it, there you go, we got a failed delivery because nobody wants just an empty plate. Alright, so here you can already see quite a lot of interactions, quite a lot of systems at work. So the character has a nice character controller, it has physics interaction, you can see how it identifies the counter that is in front of the character. I can press a button to interact with the counter, and interacting with different counters does different things. So if I interact with a clear counter, I can pick up or drop things. Over here I can pick up, drop it. With an alternate interaction, I can do the second action. Then there's the stove machine, so that one has a nice state machine, so it counts up. Over here we've got some nice particles, we've got a nice bloom, so all the visuals look really great, so we've got some post-processing. We have a bunch of UI elements directly on the world. And outside of here we've got some regular UI elements. So we've got the recipes with dynamic icons for all of them. We've got a timer over there on the top right corner showing how long we have to deliver all our recipes. And on the kitchen counter we're also using a custom shader, so this was built using ShaderGraph. So as you can see, lots of interlocked systems. Then the game also has, of course, the basics that any game should have. So I can pause the game, and there you go, we've got a nice pause menu. So we can resume to go back, or pause it again. And of course, while paused, everything is paused, so that's great. We can go back into the main menu, or we can go into options. And over here we can play around the sound effects volume, the music volume. We've got all of our controls. Importantly, these are the controls for the keyboard and also the gamepad. So the game can be played with any gamepad, so it can be an Xbox controller, PlayStation, Switch controller, doesn't matter, all of them work. And we can also rebind all of these keys, both the keys as well as the gamepad inputs. So let's go ahead and deliver a cheeseburger, so here's some burnt meat, so let's toss this. Then pick up some more meat, pick up a plate, here we've got some cheese, we've got some bread, pick up the meat, and deliver it. Alright, awesome! And of course, finally at the end, when our timer is elapsed, here we have a nice game over window showing how many recipes we delivered. Alright, so this is the final game that we're going to build. As you can see, it involves lots of interesting interactions which require learning lots of different skills. We're going to be using C# interfaces, C# events, the new input system, shader graphs, scriptable objects. We're going to learn about C# events, make a character controller, handle collisions, and so on. Like I said, one thing that we're going to focus heavily throughout the making of this game is on writing good, clean code, meaning that the final game that we're going to build will be very easy to expand upon. Thanks to how the code is very clean, it will be very easy to add more recipes, maybe more counters with more actions, maybe things like perhaps washing dishes, adding an oven and so on, or really you could make something completely different. This game is all about character and interactions, so that could be whatever you want. You could take this as a base and build some kind of sci-fi game, something like Among Us or FTL. You could make a survival crafting game like Rust or Minecraft or Don't Starve. Really, by learning how to build this game, by the end you will have gained the knowledge required to build all kinds of unique and interesting games. Alright, so now that we've seen the final game, let's actually build it. Just before we do, let's get a quick refresher of the absolute basics you should know in the next lecture.